Evil is real. That was the theme of Season 1 of the Playing with Fire podcast, and here is the deal. We are back with Season 2, and things are going to look a little bit different. This is a teaser for Season 2 today, which is actually going to kick off in just a couple of days. And if you look back to Season 1 last October, what we did is we told stories, compelling stories of overcoming evil and finding healing in a very edited and scripted way. Now we're going to be doing that again in October, so you'll be seeing Season 3 of Playing with Fire hit this upcoming October. They are going to be edited stories very similar to what you saw last season. But this season we're going to do things a little different. We're going to tell the real, raw, unfiltered and unedited stories. These are going to be conversations between me and other people, and I'll get in a moment to who those people are going to be. But I want to note something. This special second season of Playing with Fire begins during the Easter season, and that is by design. We are launching the season Easter week. Here's why. Because the conversation around evil is often used to scare and terrify people. It's used to entertain people, but it's done through immeasurable fear. And as Christians, we know that Christ defeated evil. He defeated evil on the cross. That doesn't mean that there isn't still evil today and that people can't engage in evil if they so choose. But the point is, God is bigger, that the stage has been set, and that God has triumphed over evil. Now, in Season 2 of Playing with Fire, we are going to explore more stories of people who have left behind Satanism, witchcraft, and other elements of the occult. These unfiltered conversations, they might shock you, they might captivate you. In fact, I hope they do, but they will ultimately point us all back towards hope in Christ. As a journalist, one of the most fascinating experiences has been writing and discussing Playing with Fire. I never dreamed we would launch a podcast around it, but there are so many stories that need to be told, and that is why we are here. So Season 2 is going to tell unfiltered conversations. Again, conversations without edit, where we are going to talk with people who have found healing. And we're also going to be talking with pastors and others who deal with these issues on a daily basis. You might be skeptical, you might not be sure what you believe, but I want to just highlight one thing in this promo discussion about Season 2. This issue of evil, it is permeating our culture. We're seeing it every day. But I want to talk specifically, before we go here, about some of the things we're seeing in pop culture. We are seeing Ouija boards. The other day I walked into a Barnes & Noble, and there's the Ouija board right in the middle of the Barnes & Noble, just with the board games, as though this is just some other flippant activity. Tarot cards are raging. People in this culture, as this culture moves away from God, as we say, we don't need God, we don't need Christianity. Well, God put this hole inside of us all, this gaping arena in which we are really to crave Him. And when we don't actually go for the correct God, we try to fill that void with something else, and that is what we are watching in culture right now. There was a fascinating article we did over at FaithWire, and for those who don't know, I'm a journalist over at CBN News in FaithWire, about actress Vanessa Hudgens. She was on with Kelly Clarkson on the Kelly Clarkson Show recently, and she was discussing the fact that she has a, quote, gift, that she can see and hear spiritual things. And the reason I highlight this story is because this is what we are seeing happen in pop culture. This intermingling with the occult, trying to communicate with spirits, these things are being interwoven into TV shows, into pop culture. They are being more normalized than ever. And again, it's based on and predicated upon that want, that urge to be afraid, to be scared. Now, this Vanessa Hudgens story was a bit shocking because Kelly Clarkson asked her, "Are you obsessed with ghosts? I've heard that you're obsessed with ghosts." And Vanessa said, "It's not really a new passion." And this is a quote. "You're just kind of finding out. Yeah, I feel like I've accepted the fact that I see things and I hear things." She shared a story about being a child in her home getting ready for school when she was 8 years old, and that there was this little duck toy on her table in the dining room, and that the toy started to move and walk alongside her. She also talked about going to a graveyard. She said, well, before I even get there, she said, "I shut all of this down because it was scary for a while. The unknown is scary," but that she recently realized that this is a gift and something that she has the ability to do and that she wants to lean into it. She then shared that she got some paranormal equipment together, went to a graveyard, and tried to communicate with a spirit there, and that she used something called a spirit box, that it's her, quote, favorite thing to use. And that it basically scans radio frequencies really quickly, and that you can basically hear the voices of spirits through it. Now, this might sound ridiculous to some of you, and I don't even know where I stand on this particular story. But the reality is that these things are being normalized, that it's being made to look cool to try to communicate with the dead. And I talk about this in Playing with Fire, that, most of the experts I spoke with, they don't believe you're communicating with the dead. They believe you're communicating with evil. Now, she talked about sitting at this tombstone and hearing this voice through the spirit box. And so I highlight that story because it was mainstreamed on a talk show. And this is something that is being talked about openly now. And we need to be prepared as Christians to understand the dangers of these things, what it means to engage with those things, and what we're actually called to do, which again is finding hope in Christ. So I am so excited for season 2 of Playing with Fire. It is going to drop in the next couple of days, and I cannot wait for you to hear the first episode. So stay tuned. Season 2 of Playing with Fire, and head back if you haven't listened to season 1 yet and listen to some of the incredible overcomer stories, people who overcame evil and found hope. You will hear from me very, very soon.